I kind of want to just tiptoe into the Cristiano Ronaldo conversation, guys, if you don't mind, because he's just taking a flamethrower to his legacy in some ways, and people look up to him and both on and off the field. And so for him to conduct himself where he goes on Piers Morgan, where you're going to get those leading questions that you're talking about, Heath. And he's not just trying to dodge those. He's answering all of them and then adding stuff to it. I think he called Wayne Rooney fat. Yeah, he's throwing everybody under the bus. And it's just an interesting juxtapose to what we've seen from a young person who you think would go down that route and is choosing not to. So Charlie, what do you think about Cristiano? And then I'll come to you, Heath, on this.
It's sad that he's come to this point in his life, in his career, and he's seen everything. To come down and say, you know what, it's everyone else's fault. It's the club's fault for not growing. I was coming back. If you're not playing, you're not playing. And when you have played, it's you haven't given Manchester United or the manager enough of a reason to say you have to play every single game, right? It's not the Cristiano Ronaldo of 2006 and 7 where he's up and down the flank, dominating the flank, taking a lot of touches, influencing game, even if he's not scoring. When he's gone to Madrid, he's a different type of player. I mean, he's clinical. He gets his chances, but in the work rate is not the same. And with Manchester United, it's not the same team as Real Madrid. You're not getting as many chances as you would when he was in his prime with Real Madrid. So I think it's just one of those instances where every player comes to the point where Father Time is kind of prohibiting you from being at your previous best. And he's not as fast, he's not as quick, he's not as sharp, he's not as strong. He still can play at the highest level and still score goals. But there always comes that point where you have to eat that humble pie, and he's not reacting very well to it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. It's almost like he's failing to accept, Heath, that he is getting older and that things are just going to go in his way. He can't every time before he could work harder to get what he wanted, and now not only is he not getting what he wanted, nobody wants to sign that guy. Like, why would you want to be that guy? Is turning into the biggest cancer in the locker room. He never should have left Real Madrid. He should have just stayed there.
Yeah, when I was 31 and I retired, I could have played another 7 years, right, and just keep going and going and going and going because that's all.
Charlie, you hearing this? You think he
like? But no, in theory, you could just keep on going, right? You just keep on going. But like for me, I was like angry. I was angry after having hip and leg surgeries and all kinds of things that I couldn't do what my body wanted to do, and I was becoming grumpy. Like I was not enjoying. It became a job for me, and it became this thing where it was constantly me against my body, me against my goals, me against my and I truly was, and I was like, I don't want to be this person just because like I feel like I should. Like I set a goal of playing till I was 36, 37, 38. He's 37 now, so naturally he's on the decline. And then again, like you said, he's playing in a league where there's no easy wins, there's no easy goals that comes out of the Premier League because at a minimum, you've got to fight for every goal and get into spots and get those chances that you get. And then you add that to the fact that he has been catered to his entire career, right? Ronaldo couldn't have gone to Barcelona during Barcelona because that wasn't the type of personality or somebody you would need in a club like that at that time when he would have been going to that area. He went to a Real Madrid where he was the big star. He was a big star left Manchester United, right? He was at Juventus. Like he was the guy, and obviously, he's got his flamethrower out going after everybody now, looking through his very channeled perspective or very narrow perspective. But I think other people are getting to that point where it's like, I will deal with Ronaldo and all the chaos that comes with it, so long as he is the Cristiano Ronaldo we've all known and loved. But when that production starts to tilt a little bit, he still has these unbelievable world-class capabilities. Then I think people start to push back, and he's getting to that point where it's kind of the perfect storm. And it's sad because you hate to see something you hate to see a legend like this kind of creating this type of narrative, but I don't know any other way around it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and the timing feels kind of strategic with him. I believe he did something similar with Juventus before the transfer window ended, and he ended up going to Man United when he was going to go to City, and then Sir Alex Ferguson, blah blah blah. But now I wonder how that's going to impact Portugal at the World Cup. They have a very tough group with South Korea, Uruguay, and Ghana. On paper, they should beat all three of those teams, but the World Cup's not played on paper, so we'll have to wait and see. And then I think, based on how he performs, I think he's going to be motivated for this World Cup to prove that he can still play at a high level. I think he's going to make a move in January, and I think at this point, Man United has nowhere else to go but to move him in January. So very interesting timing for Cristiano
MLS,
Ronaldo.
MLS, Major League Soccer.
Him and Messi at Inter Miami, just throwing it out there.
No,
so,
I don't think they could coexist.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They would break the budget. So
that's true. That's true. Well, Inter Miami's found a way around those rules before.
They have, but then Adidas is the league sponsor, so Messi, you find a way to make it work.
Hey, I was thinking about
Nike's with Cristiano, so
hey, this is a side note, right? But Nike with Cristiano is a big thing because remember when the Portland Timbers came into the league and they went and signed basically all of the players to Nike contracts because they were like, hey, this is Nike World Headquarters. We need to sign all these players to deals because we want Portland to still be very Nike, even though it was an Adidas league. And I was thinking about this, and I actually tweeted this on Hercules Gomez posted something about the Nike campaign of Ricardo Pepi. And I remember before it was the MLS quota, it was the Nike quota, right? If you were a Nike player, you had a better chance of making the World Cup team than if you weren't. Do you remember when that was like a thing that people were speculating on?
I do. I mean, because back in the day, Nike was only going to sign you if you were a national team guy, a certified national team guy. I mean, there was even a small portion of the national team players that were even eligible, that would even be questioned to sign a contract for Nike. So typically, if you're with Nike, you were guaranteed a spot because you were typically one of the better players or the most influential or impactful player. So I mean, you look at the marketing materials and Ricardo Pepi's all over it with Nike in the World Cup kit, you would figure, yeah, he's going. No, the only way he wouldn't be going is if there was like a drastic injury or a drastic change in form, but he's only gotten better with the loan move with scoring goals and playing time. So that was the kind of mind-boggling, I think, surprise for everybody because they're like, whoa, this is the guy that helped you get into a World Cup, and now he's playing in Europe and playing well, and now he's not included.
Yeah, it's wild. I do want to bring up some performances, though, from this past weekend, and one was Sergiño Dest. When he played for Milan this weekend against Fiorentina, the guy looked as sharp as I've seen him in quite some time. He just was on it. His first touch, the Fiorentina defenders didn't want to get close to him because he just was, when you play against somebody and you can see that they're feeling it and you're like, all right, I'm just going to back off, give myself a little bit of space because I can't win the ball. I can't win the ball for this player.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was very, very good. And that is a fantastic sign as he flies into Qatar today. But Timo Weah was really interesting. And we both laughed, Heath, because we looked at the front line of Lille this past weekend, and we didn't see Timo Weah. And instead of looking at the rest of the team, I'm like, oh, he must not have played. I go down to the subs bench or didn't start. He didn't get in the game. Okay, look at the absence. He's not even on the absences. I'm like, where's Timo Weah? I go back up and look at he played right back for Lille. How many right backs are we going to have at this World Cup for the U.S., Charlie? I want to know. We can't bring Ricardo Pepi. We got so many goddamn right backs. Charlie, talk to me. God.
Yeah, I've already done it. I'm not even going to vent anymore. I've let it go. But
you haven't let it go.
Tyler Adams can play right back. Weston McKennie can play right back. And then Timo Weah.
And Kellen Acosta.
Kellen Acosta. I mean, you can go down the line. So, yeah, we have a number of right backs in the squad.
It's insane.
3 strikers, right?
It is kind of funny that there was just some sort of like flex on Greg Berhalter done by Lille this weekend to be like, you know what, we're going to add another right back just to create chaos in your fans' eyes of like just who can go and do it. But I mean, you see, you're because of the fluidity of the back fives or the back threes. Now you're seeing a lot of players become wingers to wing backs and sort of that hybrid transition where the modern game is supposed to be defense first, but like the new modern game is very much like if you have a double pivot, your fullbacks have to be very good on the ball and very good at attacking. And we overlook some of the deficiencies defensively if they're that good going forward. I mean, Timo Weah going forward, unbelievable. I'd love to go back and watch him playing at right back though. I don't really see him as a right back, but still he played.
Nations League final. He came in as a right wing back against Mexico.
That's right.
He's done it. I think I've seen him play with Lille as a right back, as a right midfielder, but he can defend. He comes all the way back. The problem is when you have a player who's more attack minded than defensive, but is required to defend, they lose a little bit in terms of positioning and just the endurance to get forward and to be in those dangerous spots where they are at their strengths, where they are playing their best. If you're asking Sergiño Dest to always defend, you're not going to see him make as many runs as you'd like to see in the attacking third, right? So starting position is vital within this group. Against Wales, I think they'll sit back a little bit more. So I think that invites Sergiño Dest to be up a little bit higher, to play on the front foot, which also I think Wales are looking forward because they're saying, hey, we got Daniel James. We're going to get operating in that space behind Dest because he's going to be up forward. So that's when they really have to control the tempo and neutralize Wales in the transition game. I think we'll be all right. I'm confident against Wales. It's the transition from Wales to England. Do we change our squad? Let's say we have success against Wales and a resounding success. Do we all of a sudden flip it up and change it completely and change the players involved in the 11? Or do we stick with that same group because we did well? I go back and forth. Do we defend? Do we attack Wales? Do we defend against England? And then do we attack Iran? Or do you stay, the same way throughout all three games, but maybe tactics change here and there depending on how the game is going?
No, these are all interesting insights for me. I as I continue to think through these opponents and who's available, first 20 minutes, I just don't want us to dick around with the ball, get it up high, make them try to play pretty out from the back. We try to, steal as many balls as we can and start our attack. And then when it opens up, we play from there. And I think then the game kind of shifts accordingly.